Yeah, I kicked the goal. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
it went
yeah.
in.
Yeah, I went in. I kicked the goal. Yeah, yeah.
I hope you didn't take out any fans on the other side. Welcome to the Now Reflection podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Chan, Manager of African Scouting for the Toronto Raptors, founder of a Padilla Foundation, and a development associate with Giants of Africa. Today we have a trailblazer, the first African to play in the AFL, along the way making history. He migrated to Australia at the age of 9 in 2003 with his family from Sudan through Egypt, coming to Australia. In 2009, he got drafted by North Melbourne Football Club, and he's gone on to play 54 games in 11 years. Had an incredible career. In 2016, he was awarded the Mark of the Year, and I'm so privileged and honored to have not just a brother from the motherland, but a brother from South Sudan as well, to grace us with his presence. So thank you for tuning in. Today's guest is Majak Daw. Majak, thank you so much for making time to be here.
No, my pleasure. Yeah, thanks for having me on here, Sarah. I don't know, I get goosebumps when you introducing me like that. But yeah, I'm just a South Sudanese kid who came to this country. Had no idea what AFL football was. Back then, there weren't too many Africans in Australia. So
the first.
Yeah, the first. Yeah. So at school, everywhere we went, we got really different looks. People, people didn't really notice us. But as soon as I started going to school, I saw the Aussie kids, the kids that are born here, kicking this weird round shaped ball. Yeah. I had no idea what it was, but just to make friends, I started joining them and started playing with them at lunchtime and recess. And they were really excited. They said, "Would you like to come and play with us? Would you like to come play at our local football club?" And that was hard because African parents, you know what they're like. I told them I want to go and play football, and they said no, it's too violent. So, but after a period of time of convincing them, they let me join a local football club, which was exciting. And from then on, it really allowed me to assimilate into the Australian culture. I was able to have new friends. My parents would come and watch me play, and then I just kept on progressing, got better, and I got drafted from there.
And at a young age as well.
Yeah.
But I'm very sure that before you got to, I mean, having African parents who think, you know what, it's too rough or this and that, and also, I mean, being the first, you had no other Africans that you looked up to, and then you're navigating and you're creating a pathway for like generations to come. But as a young person getting into this, what were some of the challenges as an immigrant child in Australia?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
No, there were so many challenges.
Yeah.
Obviously, coming here, I didn't speak a word of English. But my father has a background in teaching. So he made sure we read a lot when I got home. The challenges were at school. Kids were very racist. Didn't treated me and my siblings a certain way. So my way of dealing with it was I'd get into a lot of fights.
You had to defend yourself.
Yeah, with the kids. Sorry. And I got suspended, and me and my dad would have conversations around it, and he didn't quite understand my frustration. I guess one of the other things I didn't have things like my friends did at home. I had to buy second-hand boots, second-hand football boots. stuff like that. We couldn't afford football registration fees because I'm one of 9 kids, and you know, it's how do you pick which child to favour and all that stuff. So, but I was really lucky. We got to meet some Aussies who are now family, and they helped us out. They helped us out so much. You know, they were able to drive me to training, to some of my games, come and watch me play, and that was a big thing. You know what I mean? Like being on the football field and looking around. Other kids had their parents there watching them and supporting them. Right. And at times I didn't have anyone, so to see a familiar face there watching me, yeah, that was pretty cool.
They're working, you know, it's a different environment. They have to feed all 9 and cater, but also you needed the support. So how did you stay motivated even without that support?
I don't know. I just love playing football so much. You know, I just enjoyed it, and the games would be on TV either Friday night or over the weekend. And if my favourite team won, I had something to talk about.
Trash talk everybody.
You know what I mean? I had something to talk about. Had something similar to share with the other kids at school, so I didn't feel any different.
So you developed a passion for footy. Tell me, what was your journey like to the AFL draft?
So when I first started at 14, I was a bit of a laughing stock, you know, learning the game, learning how to play. I was a ruckman and a forward. Yeah. And then we moved to another school. We moved to McKillop College. My parents just bought a new place. Okay. You know, I was really frustrated because I've just made all these new friends. Right.
And you're moving again.
Moving again. Yeah. You know, so it was such a common theme in my family that we never had any you know, stability of staying in one place and all this. So when we moved out to Werribee, where they bought the place, there was a football club across the road, and they said, "Go over there and introduce yourself." I you know, I walked there sheepishly, and mind you, you know, there are no Africans, there are no black people at this club. So the first night I got there, and they're like, "Is this guy lost?"
Where do you think you're going,
sir? Yeah. And I told them I want to play. Yeah. And that's when my football really started, you know.
To peak.
Yeah, it started to peak. Then I was going to a really good school, like a Catholic private school. Okay. Education was really good. And when I turned 16, there was a scout from the Western Jets, which is a competition where all the best young kids in Victoria and interstate play in. So I got invited. To Western Jets to see if I was good enough to make the list. So I made the list. I was quite young. They were impressed by what I was capable of. And then from then on, you know, me and my dad had a trade-off. I had to make sure. Yeah, I had to make sure my schooling was good. My grades. Yeah. My grades were good, and then I can play football. You know, it was hard, but I said, okay.
It always says the balance.
Yeah, the balance. Yeah. So I was able to do both, and then I ended up playing 14 to 15 games. Okay. The first 10 games were quite hard, you know, because I was playing against some of the best kids, and in the last 5 games of the season, I don't know, just something clicked, and I just had a really good patch of great games. You know, I remember this game quite clearly. I kicked 6 goals.
I've watched that highlight.
Yeah.
I said, this guy might as well never kick anyone because, that was incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
That was really amazing.
I couldn't believe it. And then from that game on, I went on to kick. I think within a 5-game period, I think I ended up kicking 18 goals. And then they heard about, there's this African kid.
Janubi guy.
Yeah.
He has very strong quads.
Yeah.
Go take a look.
Go take a look.
Yeah.
So the scouts were there. They were watching my game, and then they came to my parents' place.
Okay.
We had a meeting, and I think it was just a personality profile, just to see if they took you to their football club, can you fit in?
Can you perform?
Yeah, are you teachable?
Right.
Yeah, can you can you get along? Can you get along with other players? And then I lodged my papers for the draft. I didn't get drafted on the main draft, on the national draft, which happened to be on my graduation night. Okay. So that was quite disappointing. Yeah. But then a couple of weeks later, the rookie draft happened, and his name was Andrew Dimitri at the time. Okay. That was the boss of the AFL, like the GM of AFL. He rang me with 15 minutes before the rookie draft. And he said, "Look, don't worry.
We'll get you in somewhere.
We're gonna get you. We're gonna take you."
Yeah.
And he said, "Don't tell anyone else." So I kept it to myself.
Yeah.
We set up a live stream in the living room.
Wow.
And then at pick 9, my name got read out.
Right.
Majak Daw to North Melbourne Football Club.
And how was that like? How did you feel? Because I mean, it's not exactly what it was that you were expecting, but then you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. How was that?
To be honest, it was like I had my mum there. I had my siblings around. I just jumped up and screamed.
I would have done a backflip as well. I would have backflipped into people, dishes, and everything else. Okay.
No, it was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And then we get a knock on the door. I'm like, who could be here?
At this time.
It was the captain of my football club.
Wow.
Him and a couple of other players. They brought a jumper, and he came and presented me with my jumper, and he said, welcome to the club. Wow. And there's this thing we as North Melbourne we're called the shin boners. Okay. She's like, now you're a shin boner.
Please explain it to me. Does it have like any meaning?
Yeah, it has a really strong meaning. So in the North Melbourne area, back in the days, a lot of them used to be from hard-working backgrounds.
Okay. Oh wow.
So they were butchers. And a shin bone is one of the hardest bones to break.
So like literally like the shin bone.
Yeah.
So you guys are called the shin boners.
The shin boners.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is wonderful.
Yeah. So we're called the shin boners, and I guess the meaning behind the shin boner is a working class people.
Wow.
And through whatever hardship, a shin boner goes through it and they survive. So. And
truly, I think there's not a better story than your story to be a true shin boner. It's amazing.
To be a shin boner.
Yeah.
But then that's when life started to change completely. Yeah. I wasn't even prepared for it. So a couple of days later, I had to move out of home from my parents' place.
Right.
So I moved out and I went and lived with other players just to be closer to training. And those first 3 months, I learned what hard work is.
What a shin boner really is.
Yeah. Like training was rigorous. Get to the club,
right.
Training prep. and we'll be out in the oval for at least 2 to 3 hours. A combination of running, skills block.
Oh yeah.
So I was literally going to training, coming home, sleeping, repeating that. Yeah, just my body adjusting to the training load. But I got used to it. You know, my body was strong enough, and then because I still wasn't up to the level to be playing AFL footy.
Okay.
So I was playing for our club, our second team, which was the Werribee VFL. So that's where that's where I developed, learned my craft until I was ready to play with the big boys. So
you want to chill with the big boys? It takes that hard work.
Yeah.
Okay. So with the learning to adjust to that physically, the attention as well that's now coming in. I mean, it's the first African, you were South Sudanese, Australian, to actually play here. There's all of this attention. No matter where you go, it's Majak. People want to take pictures, people want to ask questions. How did you balance, or how did you basically deal with that attention coming in? Because I mean, at a young age too, coming into this limelight, and also your personality, you're very modest and very laid back, and there's all these people in your face.
Well, yeah, I really struggled with it. Because I wasn't taken with the high draft picks, so you could understand that hype would come with someone that's already a star. For someone that was taken in pick 9 in the rookie draft, I struggled. Like, I'd go down the street, people would stop and want to talk or want to take a photo, and I wasn't used to it.
Right.
So I kept to myself a fair bit. I stayed at home. I developed social anxiety. You know what I mean? Everywhere I'd go, like, I just want people to leave me alone.
Right.
So that's when I started working with our head of media manager, Heath O'Loughlin.
Okay.
He taught me a lot of how to present yourself in front of the media. Being nice enough to people, give them what they want, but then setting your boundaries.
Right.
But people are so selfish. If you don't give them what they want, it's almost like a commodity. Like, they own you in a way. But so fast forward to those few years, I finally made my debut. The coach came up to me. I was outside at training, kicking some goals. I don't know. I had a feeling. I had a feeling something was going to happen. And my coach Brad Scott, he's taught me so much about life, but also how to carry yourself as a person.
Right.
I saw him in the corner of my eye, and I'm just like,
what now?
Is it?
What now?
What now? And I was like, but there was no one else around. Everyone else was.
Like, I can see you, right?
Yeah. So then there was a camera guy hiding somewhere trying to capture the moment, and then he came and tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, how do you think you're going? Do you think if we selected you this weekend, can you come in and do the job for us? And I was like, I was trying to be modest. I was like, I don't know. I thought it was a trick.
Like,
yeah.
Okay. Well, they've taught me how to actually present myself. I'll put it to work now.
Yeah. I thought it was a trick question, but I said, yeah. I think I've been consistent now for about 3 months. I think I'm ready. And he's like, I think you're ready to. We can't wait to bring you in and do the job for us. And I gave him an awkward hug.
One of those side.
I was like,
hugs.
oh, thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
And then as soon as that happened, I went back inside, and all the boys got around me, and they were just so happy.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
No, and also seeing like the brotherhood within,
within the club.
Yeah, and you've always spoken about the the banter in the locker rooms and all of that. So that must have been such a moment.
Yeah, it was, you know. But so then I rang my parents. I told them, I said, hey, I'm making my debut this weekend. I'm going to play. So that was pretty cool. Right. And then leading up to the week, so it happened on Wednesday, and the game wasn't until Sunday. It was kind of greedy by me, but I asked the club for, I think it was 71 tickets.
Oh, you brought your whole community,
the whole community,
village.
you know.
Why didn't you get? I was in my village. You should have called me, man. I would have been there. I was like, bro, we're gonna support you.
We're gonna support you.
Yeah.
Everyone came, you know.
Funny.
And there's this tradition before you make your debut for the club, you get given a number. It's called your Shimbona number. Okay. My Shimbona number is 975. So there's been 975 players who have played for North Melbourne. All my teammates were in there in the huddle, and then the coach is like, Majak, you know, your Shimbona number 975. You know, you've earned this now, but it comes with the responsibility. Once you put on this jumper, you know, you not only represent your family, but you represent everyone around North Melbourne. So I went out there, I kicked my first goal with my first touch, but then 15 minutes later, I was concussed.
Was this excitement? What happened? You're like,
you know,
I'll kick this ball with all my might. This is the moment.
This is the moment. Yeah, you couldn't believe it. Yeah,
I can't believe we're sitting here laughing about like a broken foot.
Like all this build up, and I was concussed 15 minutes later, and anyway, so they gave me the red vest. Right. I went downstairs, got assessed. My mum came down. She was crying. And,
of course.
Yeah. But we won the game, and and that was my first game.
Did you at least make that? Did it make it count?
The goal?
The goal.
Yeah, I kicked the goal,
it went in?
Yeah, I went in. I kicked the goal, yeah.
I hope you didn't take out any fans on the other side. Because this must have been like a serious goal.
They've got big nets.
I see it's always... Man,
Yeah.
I know we're laughing about it, but it's a serious
situation.
Man, like mama's crying, you're over there in the red vest, the fans,
it's pretty, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
But fast forward throughout my career, you know, throughout that time, had a lot of injuries. Yeah,
the knee surgery as well.
Yeah, knee surgery. I dislocated my foot. So, like, it was quite an interrupted career. Right. Yeah. So, which was quite significant. Took 6 months to get back. Wow. I didn't even know you could dislocate your foot. So, so just say that's your foot. That ended up being here like a hockey stick. Anyways,
you kicked your own foot out of the socket.
No, I landed awkwardly, and then it came.
I thought it was the powerful kick. The ball went there, and so did your foot. So that must have been like immense pain, right? And going through the recovery and your other injury where you had to get a surgery on your knee and just the ups and the downs. Honestly, like your story is inspirational to say the least, but also one of overcoming. If there's anything that stands out about even just you as a person is the power of reclaiming your life. Like no matter what we go through, that you know what, here we are, we'll keep working. Right? What would be your message to the youth?
My message to the youth, look, I think like failure, like not in the sense of making big mistakes or getting in trouble with the law, but like any type of setback, whether it's being rejected from a job, you know, going through conflict with family. Any type of failure just teaches you about yourself, and I think it's just about growth. Because if you don't make mistakes, you can't learn from them, and then how can you do things better next time?
Right.
And I think the biggest thing injuries has taught me is just to stay resilient. You know, because nothing's permanent, nothing's forever.
Right.
Things are always changing. But I think it's just about connecting with the people that have been there, that are older than you, maybe a parent, maybe a mentor, and just, you know, like putting your ego aside, asking someone who knows better than you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's powerful. Thanks for sharing that. And so and I think you've exemplified that from your journey to here, from watching some of the videos of you on your first, you know, during recovery, from your first walk to your first aided run to making a comeback, and to like you made it look easy. Really, or maybe it's like how they edited stuff. You're just like, wow. Yeah.
Now I think with
how was your mindset?
With the mental health stuff, like it's you know, it's quite a you know, it's a subject that I feel comfortable speaking about, and when that incident happened, when I tried to take my own life, I was in a place in my life where my partner and I were having difficulties. I was just coming back from another
recovery,
another surgery, and if I had my time again, I think I'd just be honest of how I was going, so I can get the right help. I was working with a psychiatrist and a psychologist at the same time, but I think I just got to a point where it was too much for me, and I thought, you know, like ending my life was the answer to it.
Right.
And I'm very grateful that I am around here.
Right.
But what came?
We're grateful that you're around here.
Yeah. But what came with it was one of the most meticulous rehab programs that I had to do. And my psychiatrist, I'm so grateful for him. Like he, you know, it was very honest. The dialogues we were having, I was seeing him once a week. He gave me two options. Option one is to be medicated, put on medication, or the other one is follow your rehab to the best of your ability, and that's your medicine. That will get you back to running.
Right.
And I had a lot of people who had their own opinion, saying, you know, how can he not be on medication? For what just had happened. I was in hospital for just under 3.5 months. I couldn't walk. Right. I was on crutches.
And for an athlete as well.
Yeah, that was frustrating.
I can imagine.
Yeah, that taught me a lot of patience.
Right.
I was in the rehab pool with the elderly, like people who were 70, 80 years old, and I was like, I shouldn't be here.
This is not it.
Yeah, you know, this is not where I want to be. And also like pain medication, like because I was in so much pain, like I broke both my pelvises, I broke my back. So I'm grateful for the surgeon who was able to fix me. Right. You know, I've got a couple of rods in my hips. And the rehab process, you know, it was quite lonely. I was in the gym a lot of the time. So, with that being said, it took me 700 days to come back and play. So, but that's what I wanted to do.
I know.
I wanted to come back and play AFL footy because, in the back of my mind, that's where I saw myself fully healed. So, yeah.
And you speak a lot about Hendrix, your son, who has been such, I think, grounding little boy.
Yeah, little boy. Yeah.
Yeah. So your mindset and you're trying to heal and you're trying to do good by Hendrix. Like, what are your emotions then?
Around it?
Yeah.
I see when he was born. I don't know. Like, for other parents out there or fathers out there. I was scared. I didn't know what type of father I was gonna be. You know what I mean? Like, am I gonna give him the love that my dad gave me? Am I gonna love him enough? Will I be able to provide or give him everything that he wants? But those doubts were completely squashed when he was born. You know, like now he's 4.
Yeah. So adorable. He is so adorable.
I think he takes after his mum.
You're not claiming that.
The best thing about Hendrix is, you know, he's very affectionate. I love that he calls me dad. You know what I mean? He's very active, runs around a lot, and yeah, I just love being a father to him.
Yeah, and I think you do an incredible job because I saw in some of your pictures you even took him to the South Sudan national basketball dinner. So the dinner was a gala.
Yeah, the gala.
I was like, oh, this is really awesome, and it's also very intentional. You know, like moments like those. You're doing an amazing job, really.
Yeah. No, I just want to bring him around our people.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and also I know you're very intentional about community. Just basically community still giving back to sports, and also always uplifting and encouraging others to do the same. For instance, Mamuch Chuol, you know, organized the first footy tournament for South Sudanese that has also a mental health organization. Tell us a bit about how you, and we'll invite him to the set later on to answer a question or two, but how you met him and, you know, how you got him to come into the industry and...
Yeah. One thing I love about Mamuch is like the drive and the passion that he has about the community.
Right.
For someone his age, I think they're very good qualities.
Right.
And you know, the ability for him to just keep doing things, although there's obstacles around it. You know, because AFL as an industry needs to get better in terms of providing opportunities for people of colour or the multicultural community. They say it, but
easier said than done.
They say they want to help and they say they want to make improvements, but you know, now I've been in the industry for what, almost 13 years. I've seen change. I've seen players from African backgrounds get drafted, but where they fail is investing in, you know, the next generation, the younger kids, you know. And I feel like Mamuch, you know, wants that change, wants to help. So that's why I hope going forward, you know, work with him on some of the projects, and but in particular that South Sudanese football tournament, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've
first ever. But also for you to be the first, and then now you're seeing the generation that you've inspired, and they're doing this, and now, well, you know, you're young enough that you're still enjoying this in your youth as well. This must be really fulfilling, because this is what purpose is, right? You hope to inspire, but also to see it now, and you're actually encouraging, and you guys are working together. I think that is changing the narrative, and South Sudan more so than ever really needs this. And I think really I could not commend you guys more.
Because the best thing about it was us that did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was the whole South Sudanese community.
Right.
but in particular, young people driving this.
Right.
And the atmosphere was just unbelievable. And
I'm sad I didn't.
I wish.
I'm so sad
Well,
I didn't
hopefully we do another one. Sorry.
Yeah.
And Mamuch was saying, "Are you gonna play? Are you gonna play?" I said, "Oh,
Are
look."
you? Mamuch, join us.
Yeah, come in.
Would like to find out about this your passion side.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the set. This is Mamuch Chuol, incredibly passionate young man that's doing incredible things in the field of mental health, but also just intentional with football, but giving back to community how he knows at this age. I don't even know what I was doing at your age, man. But welcome to the set. What motivated you to, first of all, found the mental health organization, and then also what led you to actually go ahead and organize the first South Sudanese foodie tournament ever?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on set. And our organization is not just a mental health organization, it's a non-profit organization.
Okay.
You know, the way we started it was with a group of friends and I, and you know, we just had passion to change the community because, you know, the narrative for us and how people perceived our community was really bad, and we had all seen that, and we were all so passionate about doing something about it. So, you know, the name Next Gen Unite, it comes from how our community in the South Sudanese community isn't united.
Right.
So, you know, that was the first foremost thing that we're like, okay, if that's going to be the focus, let's do it with young people. Let's do it with the next generation. And that's why we call it Next Gen Unite. You know, the first football tournament that we ever ran, that whole idea came from like, what is the best way for us to change the narrative?
Right.
You know, we live in Australia and we know that Australian rules football is the most popular sport in the country. So we thought that, you know, we know that a lot of young people and obviously guys like Majak Daw have really set the trend for football.
Right.
And now, having had something like that, we were able to obviously get news coverage. And I think that really had changed the narrative and how people really look at us now because, you know, there was like, young people of South Sudanese are into life of crime and whatnot. But, you know, when we get to work with guys like Majak and yourself, and we get to start to put you guys in the light of the community, and I think more people are going to start to support and get behind that. And so that's why we were so passionate about, you know, getting all of the AFL players down and being coaches and being involved. Obviously, they don't get to have that type of connection with community.
Right.
So it's like, let's bring these guys to community. Let's, you know, work together and try and change the narrative and also help our community. That was our main goal for the game. Obviously, mental health was a big one for us, and that's why we really wanted to interview Majak and get his story out there, because I think it's important for a community like ourselves. It's a taboo for mental health, and so talking about that, I think we really wanted to focus on mental health because we know that our parents don't believe in mental health, and you know, we've lost a lot of young community members through mental health, and we wanted to say that's enough is enough. You know, I think that we need to be able to change. We need to be able to talk about things. I think it's okay to not be okay.
Right.
You know. So, yeah.
No, that is wow. I'm blown away. How old are you again? Don't answer. I'm kidding. Oh my gosh, that is not really. That is deep.
Oops,
and wow. Like at your age, all this other young people are doing everything else, and you could have chose to be just young and go about your business, but you're intentionally gathering, you know, and informing, but also planning and sacrificing, because this takes time, takes resources, it takes intentionality, it takes all of this things to be able to put something like that together, but also the fact that you're so selfless to also bring other people around, because there's some people that's just me, I'm going to do it as, you know, glory is me, right? But you're partnering up, and here you are sitting with our other incredible brother in the game, and one that has inspired this generation, you still inspiring other generations to come. And I know it's not easy. Have you faced any challenges along the way?
Yeah, I felt a lot of challenges. I think in our community, I think that, you know, there's obviously a lot of pride.
Oh.
Yeah, and so
Let's not go there. All three of us will be beaten later. Uncles and aunties will beat us later. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah, there's definitely a lot of pride in our community, and I think that limits us a lot.
Yes.
And it limits us to collaborate with one another, and it eliminates, you know, helping people.
Right.
And I think over the past year, 2023, I think as a community we've come together quite a lot. You know, there was the national basketball team dinner. There was the national team making the Olympics.
Right.
So many things were just going so well for South Sudan and South Sudanese people. And I think now the whole world is starting to see us.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I think now if we continue to work together and we continue to collaborate, then, you know, there's going to be a future for us. And I think that, you know, the challenges that we face is, you know, around tribalism.
Right.
You know, and if we can fix tribalism, then we're obviously going to be able to fix a lot of the issues that go on in our community. And I think also there's a level of understanding that we don't have in our community, and I think that's probably a big reason as to why there's been so many issues. We're not very good at communicating with one another. You know, we choose to ignore the fact, or we choose to not have strong relationships. And I think those are the challenges that I felt, and I think growing up, having learned all those challenges and the way that I've dealt with it, is kind of why I'm so passionate about helping young people, because I know that they're facing a lot of the similar challenges to what we do. And it's like, if we have the right support systems in place, then a lot of those challenges can be removed, and there's going to be a lot more opportunities that can be created from that.
Right. No, that's wow. I am blown away. Like, I can listen to you the whole day, sir. And no, thank you so much for everything that you're doing with the young people. I know this is a struggle with them back at home, and especially back at home. You're just told to just figure it out. And there's so much, this toxic masculinity, a man shouldn't cry, a man shouldn't express himself. Emotions are for women, right? In fact, there's this saying, I don't know, do you speak Arabic?
No, I don't.
Okay, so Mara is a woman. There's actually a very famous quote that people go, Ita Marabis, you're just a woman. Like, you know, if you act like this or that, or if you are showing emotion, or you are in touch, you know, and very intentional, it's always shunned upon. But, so as we part, right, what message would you give to not just community here, but like every young person that might be, and especially where we come from, Junub, right? That might be struggling with mental health, or wants to chase a dream, and doesn't even know where to start from. What would I think I'll go back to you. What would your message be to that young man or woman?
Around mental health?
No, about to speak up about stuff. I think you've covered it somehow within that, but maybe for you would be, what message would you have to these young people that are chasing their dreams?
I think the biggest thing I've learned, people have ideas and they have aspirations and things they want to do. Lack of action.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I think as soon as you start taking action, you learn about your aspirations and dreams. You know, like if you sit back, there's this thing I want to do, but I don't know how to go about it. Like what actions are you taking towards it? Yeah, that's the biggest thing I've learned. Lack of action, you know, kills a lot of dreams. So
that's profound. No, thanks for sharing. How about you, sir? And especially in the area of mental health, because at home, there's, you know, people are actually on the streets, you know, and it's get over it or deal with it. What message would you send to our youth back at home, and just generally every youth that might be struggling in that regard?
I'd say just keep believing in yourself. I think that's a big one, believing in yourself and believing in God's plan. I think if you put those two together, then something will happen, you know, and you just got to keep continue, as Majak said, to continue the action. If you have a dream, no matter what, like, you know, there's no resources, there's nothing, like, just get it done, you know, because the moment that you get it done, you're going to make something, you know, make something out of it. And I think just be persistent and be consistent and be disciplined, and I think you'll get wherever you need to go.
Wow. Thank you so much, guys. This has been so informative. It's been knowledgeable, even for me. Being in Australia and getting to sit down, this is such a privilege. And for also our audience to be able to, you know, catch a glimpse inside of everything that you guys are doing sports-wise, youth, and community. I think it's incredible, and this really, truly is changing the narrative. And narratives are changed through changing stories. So thank you for all that you do. I celebrate you guys, and in whichever way we all can work together in the future, please let me know. Thank you.
No.
Thank you for the time.
Thanks. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to come on
thank
here.
you for making the time. This is incredible.
Definitely. Thank you again. Obviously yourself coming from Canada, coming to connect with us, it's you know, amazing. Even some of the work you do, I think I've seen quite a lot of the stuff you do. I think there's definitely always going to be ways for us to continue to collaborate with one another.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for those encouraging words. I need it too sometimes, you know. No, this has been so amazing.
Would you ever do stand-up comedy?
Yo, you know, I've been told that so many times. I'm like, you know how my account is set up. Just village to Juba and back. I'm kidding. No, I haven't tried it. Maybe we should, eh?
Definitely.
And when I start to do it and I make good money, you got 20%, you got 25% because you suggested it. So. No, thank you all for being here, and thank you for sharing all this insightful wisdom with us. It's been such an incredible segment for me. This has been really special. Thank you to our audience for tuning in. Look out for the next guest on the podcast.